Section 760.135 of the 2020 National Electrical Code addresses the location requirements for smoke and heat detectors in single-family dwellings. It is important to carefully review and adhere to the specific requirements outlined in this section to ensure proper placement and functionality of these life safety devices. Firstly, smoke detectors must be installed inside each sleeping room. This ensures that occupants are alerted to a fire while they are sleeping, providing the earliest possible warning. Secondly, smoke detectors must be installed outside each separate sleeping area in the immediate vicinity of the bedrooms. This provides an additional layer of protection, as smoke may not immediately enter the sleeping rooms. It is important that the detectors are placed close enough to the sleeping areas to ensure that the alarm is audible. Thirdly, smoke detectors must be installed on each level of the dwelling, including basements. This is crucial because fire can spread rapidly throughout a building, and detectors on each level provide comprehensive coverage. Detectors should be placed in common areas on each level to ensure that they are able to detect smoke regardless of its origin. When selecting locations for smoke detectors, it is important to avoid certain areas that may cause false alarms or hinder the detector's functionality. For instance, smoke detectors should not be installed near kitchens or bathrooms where steam or cooking fumes may trigger false alarms. They should also be kept away from air vents or windows, as drafts can interfere with the detector's ability to sense smoke. When installing smoke detectors, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. This includes ensuring that the detectors are properly wired and connected to the electrical system. It is also important to test the detectors regularly to ensure that they are functioning correctly. Most smoke detectors have a test button that can be used to verify that the alarm is working. It is recommended to test the detectors at least once a month. If a smoke detector fails to operate properly, it should be replaced immediately. Smoke detectors have a limited lifespan and should be replaced every 10 years. The expiration date is usually printed on the detector itself. In addition to smoke detectors, heat detectors may also be required in certain areas of a dwelling. Heat detectors are typically used in areas where smoke detectors may not be suitable, such as garages or attics. They are designed to activate when the temperature reaches a certain threshold, providing an alternative means of fire detection. The specific requirements for heat detectors will vary depending on the local codes and regulations. It is important to consult with a qualified electrician or fire safety professional to determine the appropriate type and placement of detectors for your specific situation. The National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, also provides guidance on smoke and heat detector installation. Their publications, such as NFPA 72, National Fire Alarm and Signaling Code, offer detailed information on the design, installation, and maintenance of fire detection systems. It is important to stay informed about the latest code requirements and best practices for fire safety. Regular inspections and maintenance of smoke and heat detectors can help to ensure that they are functioning properly and providing adequate protection. Homeowners should also educate themselves and their families about fire safety procedures, including escape routes and meeting places. A well-maintained fire detection system, combined with a comprehensive fire safety plan, can significantly increase the chances of survival in the event of a fire. Furthermore, understanding the specific requirements outlined in Section 760.135 of the 2020 National Electrical Code regarding the locations for 3-wire line voltage smoke and heat detectors in single-family dwellings is essential for compliance and safety. 3-wire line voltage smoke detectors typically require a neutral wire in addition to the hot and ground wires. The neutral wire is used to provide power to the detector when it is not actively sensing smoke or heat. This is particularly important for interconnected smoke detector systems, where multiple detectors are wired together so that when one detector senses smoke or heat, all of the detectors in the system sound an alarm. The interconnection of smoke detectors is often required by local codes and regulations. It provides an additional layer of safety by ensuring that all occupants of the dwelling are alerted to a fire, even if they are not in the immediate vicinity of the fire. When installing interconnected smoke detectors, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully to ensure that the detectors are properly wired and functioning correctly. It is also important to test the interconnection feature regularly to verify that all of the detectors are sounding an alarm when one detector is triggered. In addition to the wiring requirements, Section 760.135 of the NEC also specifies the locations where smoke and heat detectors must be installed in a single-family dwelling. As mentioned earlier, smoke detectors must be installed inside each sleeping room, outside each separate sleeping area in the immediate vicinity of the bedrooms, and on each level of the dwelling, including basements. Heat detectors may be required in certain areas where smoke detectors are not suitable, such as garages or attics. When determining the specific locations for smoke and heat detectors, it is important to consider the layout of the dwelling and the potential sources of fire. Detectors should be placed in areas where they are most likely to detect smoke or heat, such as near hallways, stairwells, and kitchens. They should also be kept away from areas that may cause false alarms, such as bathrooms and laundry rooms. It is also important to ensure that the detectors are easily accessible for testing and maintenance. They should be placed at a height that is within reach of an adult, and they should be kept free from obstructions that could interfere with their ability to sense smoke or heat. In addition to the NEC requirements, local codes and regulations may also have specific requirements for smoke and heat detector installation. It is important to consult with a qualified electrician or fire safety professional to ensure that your installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. Proper installation and maintenance of smoke and heat detectors are essential for protecting your home and family from fire. By following the NEC requirements and local codes, you can ensure that your detectors are functioning properly and providing adequate protection. Remember to test your detectors regularly, replace them every 10 years, and educate your family about fire safety procedures. By taking these steps, you can significantly increase your chances of survival in the event of a fire. When working with electrical wiring, it is imperative to prioritize safety at all times. Always disconnect the power supply to the circuit before beginning any work. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the installation. Incorrect wiring can be dangerous and can create a fire hazard. Furthermore, ensure that all wiring connections are secure and properly insulated. Loose connections can cause arcing, which can lead to a fire. Use wire connectors that are appropriate for the gauge of wire being used. Do not over-tighten the wire connectors, as this can damage the wires. After completing the installation, thoroughly inspect the wiring to ensure that it is safe and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. It is also recommended to have a qualified electrician inspect the installation to verify that it is done correctly. By following these safety precautions, you can minimize the risk of electrical shock and fire. Remember that electricity can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. Understanding the nuances of the 2020 National Electrical Code Section 760.135 provides a framework for safe and effective smoke and heat detection systems in single-family homes. Remember to always prioritize safety, follow the manufacturer's instructions, and consult with qualified professionals when needed.